Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today I'm going to be talking all about going through and getting over a breakup. If you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you are going through it right now, so for that I want to apologize. I'm sorry that you're going through this tough season of life, but I think that this video will be really helpful. Breakups are absolutely no fun, and I know that they can be incredibly tough. Trust me, I've been there, I get it. But today I'm going to be going over some ways to get over someone, as well as some things that you can do in your daily life to make it a little bit easier for yourself. And a lot of my videos are for men, but this one specifically is for men and women. I think that anyone going through this can really benefit from the advice I'm going to give today. And I thought it would be fun to make this a little bit more interactive. So on my Instagram story this week, I asked my followers to give their best breakup tips for all of you guys that might be going through it. So at the end, I'm going to share some of those, so be sure to stick around. Okay, tip number 1 is to give yourself time and accept it. It's okay to be sad, and you don't want to run from those feelings because running from it is not going to heal it or make you feel any better. So I think it is very important to acknowledge how you're feeling, let yourself be a little bit sad. I promise it's okay, it's normal. I would probably think you're a little bit psychotic if you got out of a breakup and you weren't at least a little bit sad or disappointed. So it's okay to be sad for a little bit of time as long as you're able to accept it and pick yourself back up and move on. But in order to do that, I do think you have to kind of feel the feelings, as silly as that sounds, and let yourself be sad. Breakups are hard, and you shouldn't expect yourself to be perfectly fine and back to normal the very next day. So don't be hard on yourself and let yourself be a little bit sad. And now the tough love's going to come into play because I care about all of you. You can let yourself be sad, but you have to be able to get over it. You have to pick yourself back up and be able to move on. And I think a major part of that is accepting the fact that you're broken up. So I don't want any of you guys saying, oh, well, maybe we'll get back together, or maybe she'll change her mind. No, we're not even going to consider those. We're not going to think about the what ifs or the could have beens, because if they should have been, they would have been. We're getting a little bit Dr. Seussy here now, but really, I don't want you guys to focus on what could have been or the what ifs. See things for what they are, and don't romanticize it or, have hope that you guys will get back together. Even if you do, thinking that and putting yourself through that misery is just treacherous. So I want you guys all to accept it, because you cannot move on and, meet other people or live your life to the fullest if you're still holding on to something like a breakup. So you got to be able to move on and get over it. I know that's a little bit tough and a little bit harsh, but you need to hear it. So dwelling on it or denying it is only going to hurt you in the long run. We're going to pick ourselves up, we're going to accept it, and you're going to be just fine. Number 2 is stop all contact and delete. So again, this is another one that's going to seem a little bit harsh, but I think one of the best things you can do for yourself is to cut this person off cold turkey. I think it is incredibly important to give yourself space and time, even if it's only temporary. So I'm not saying you need to delete their contact in your phone or block them on Instagram for the rest of your life. You just have to let yourself heal from it, because if you're constantly exposed to this person, you're still talking to this person like you never broke up, you're creeping on their Instagram all the time, you're constantly checking what they're doing or stalking them, you're not allowing yourself to heal and get over them, because you are still interacting with them in some way every single day. So you got to cut them out. I know, again, that sounds harsh, but I really think it's necessary. So completely cutting someone off is incredibly difficult, especially if things didn't necessarily end on bad terms, but I think it's really beneficial for you and for that other person, even if it doesn't seem like it at the time. And you don't want to be stalking them 24/7 from your little fake Instagram accounts. Seriously, cut them out cold turkey. Stop all contact, stop creeping, stop lurking on their social media. Just seriously cut it all out. Number 3 is stay busy and focus on you. This one might seem a little bit cliche, and I'm not saying to stay busy as a distraction, because again, like I said in point number 1, you have to acknowledge the way that you're feeling so that you can be able to get over it. But if you are just laying in your room for days at a time because you're so depressed about the fact that you broke up, you're going to make yourself feel a lot worse. So I do think it's important to continue your daily routine, do things that make you happy, and don't just become a little hermit locked in your room. So really find things you enjoy doing that bring you happiness. So maybe the time that you used to spend with that person, you could fill trying something new, maybe going to a workout class or hanging out with your family or your friends, or just really doing something that brings you joy, that doesn't have you just, again, sitting in your room during the time you would be spending with that other person, thinking about them or dwelling on what was. So you really want to continue to live your life and not put your life on hold because you're going through a breakup. This could be exercise, a cooking class, meditation, spend dinner with your friends. This will look different for everyone, but I don't want you guys to neglect the things in life that bring you joy just because you're feeling a little bit sad. So you really want to do things that make you feel happy, that bring you joy. These things will lift you up and make you feel a lot better about what's going on in your life. So do not neglect yourself just because you're feeling a little bit down. Number 4, don't use alcohol and drugs. And sadly, I feel like this is one of the first things people turn to when they're feeling down, when they're going through it, when they're going through a breakup, whatever it might be. Hot girl summer and the party girl stage definitely happens. I follow a few girls on Instagram that are going through breakups, and they are going out and partying every night. They are drinking, they're blacking out. And I know it can be fun to go out with your friends and have a drink or go to a party to make yourself feel a little bit better. Alcohol and many drugs are actually depressants and can be incredibly dangerous to partake in when you are at this weird emotional state in your life. So I would recommend avoiding it. This is sadly how a lot of addictions begin. Someone goes through something tough and they turn to alcohol or drugs to kind of put a band-aid on it or mask it or make themselves feel numb to what happened, and they become addicted to that feeling because they never dealt with the actual problem. They just continue to mask it and, like I said, put a band-aid on it. And I hate to break it to you, but the band-aid's got to rip off at some point unless you want to become an addict that is dependent on this for the rest of your life, which will eventually kill you. So I have watched people I love do this, and it was very hard for me as someone who cares about them and loves them, and I would hate for that to happen to any of you as well. So I know the first thing you think of when you're single is, yeah, let's go out, party, hot girl summer, single girl life, whatever, and I get it, trust me, I do, and it can be fun sometimes, but you really want to make sure you have control over this part of your life and you don't let it spiral because it can become an addiction, and again, I don't want that to happen to any of you. So just a little tip from me, you don't have to listen, but I'm going to say it anyways. Take care of yourself. Work out, make sure you're getting enough sleep, create a very healthy environment for yourself instead of drowning yourself in a bottle of tequila or dancing on the tables at the nightclub. I promise that might seem like the fun thing to do right now, but later on you will thank yourself if you take the healthier and happier route. Number 5, something that I cannot stress enough is do not rush into something new. Nobody, and I mean nobody, should want to be a rebound, and you should not be trying to seek one out either. By doing this, you aren't actually giving yourself the time you need to heal from that last relationship, and you're going to jump into your next relationship still carrying all the baggage from your last one. It's just going to be a mess and not happy time for anybody. Again, this is another one of those little temporary relationship band-aids that people put on in order to prevent themselves from having to feel the emotions from healing from their last relationship. So they'll bounce from one person to the next instead of seriously focusing on themselves, getting comfortable being alone, and kind of looking internally to figure out what's going on. Instead of doing that, they just outsource their happiness and they're always looking for the next best thing. They're bouncing from one relationship to the next, and that is a huge red flag. I would actually say a person that hops from one relationship to the next is a bigger red flag than someone who has never had a relationship. Let me know what you guys think down below. If the only way that you can get over your ex is by getting with someone new, there is a deeper issue there. Get comfortable being alone. It's incredibly important, I promise. And just a little personal story here. I've known a ton of people who have done this, but I actually knew a guy who started dating his new girlfriend before he even broke up with the last one. Neither one of them knew. It was like this huge drama, and nothing good came out of the relationship because it started on horrible ground. If someone cheats with you, they will probably cheat on you. So it's just all crazy to me, guys. See things for what they are. Stop it with the rebound crap. I promise you, it doesn't look good for anyone in the long run. And my last little tip here is to see it for what it is. I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but I think a lot of times when people are going through breakups, they really romanticize the good times and they tend to forget all the bad things that happened or the reason why you broke up. See things for what they were or what they are instead of what you wanted them to be. So again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, stop focusing on the what ifs or the could have beens or, oh, this time was so fun, because chances are there is a reason why you broke up. And I think it's important to remember that when you're trying to heal from it, so that you know, maybe this wasn't the best thing for me. Maybe this is for the best that we broke up, instead of just hyperfixating on all of the good times and making yourself feel sad about it. Like I always say, see things for what they are and not what you want them to be. See what is directly in front of you and not what you wished it could have been. Seriously, remember the reason that you broke up. If that means you need to write a pro and con list, do it. When me and my last boyfriend broke up, I made a list of pros and cons about the entire relationship. And when I actually sat down and wrote them down in a journal, the cons heavily outweighed the pros, and it was much easier for me to visualize and to remember, okay, this is why things didn't work out and I'm gonna be okay. So if you have to do that too, there's no shame in that. And maybe things were mutual and you don't really have any resentful feelings towards that other person. Maybe things ended on pretty good terms, but whether they ended in a peachy way or not, there is still a reason why you broke up. So I think it's important to remember that. Now I'm going to read through some of the responses I got on Instagram. A ton of you guys, and when I say a ton, I mean a ton. It took me 4 minutes and 30 seconds to scroll through all of the responses. So there were honestly thousands, I think. So I'm going to read some of my favorites that I think will be really helpful for all of you. And the reason I'm doing this is just because not all of us process things or heal from things the same way, right? And I think it's often nice to hear from people who have been in your situation or have gone through what you've gone through and just kind of share what worked for them. So I'm going to start going through those. Let's see. I have see a therapist that specializes in this. Surround yourself with people who make you feel good. Absolutely do not stalk them online. It never helps ever. That one is incredibly true. Take a break from social media. Focus on fitness and mental health because you need a distraction from the heartache. Keep yourself busy. Think about how you've grown from that relationship. Grief counseling. A lot of people said they went to therapy and it really helped them. So I know that's not for everyone, but I've heard a lot of people say that it was very beneficial. Get a dog. That's funny. Don't cling to the good memories you have with that person. That's why I said always remember the reason you broke up. Self-reflection. What can I work on? How can I improve myself? How can I love myself? And the reason why I love that one is because I think a lot of times when you break up and you tell your friends about it, they just want to hype you up. They just tell you, oh, he wasn't good enough for you anyway. And a lot of the time, you were part of the problem. So I think looking back at your relationships and saying, okay, where did I fall short? What could I have done better? Can help you for your future relationships too. So really taking accountability for the fact that you're not perfect. None of us are. We all make mistakes. We all have flaws, and that's totally normal, and there's nothing wrong with that. So taking accountability over that will really help you in your future relationships. Time, yeah, it definitely gets easier with time. Block them, yep. And that's not harsh. That's not mean to block somebody. It's for your own healing and your mental health. So don't feel bad about it. Yeah, basically, I mean, everyone pretty much said the same group of things. Biggest thing is accepting it's over and willing to move on. Mindset was huge for me. Yeah, your mindset is everything. If you let yourself be a Debbie Downer, down in the dumps all the time, feeling depressed, your life's going to play out that way. You really have to make a mental shift to getting over it and accepting it. Focus on improving yourself, not for revenge, not to get back at anybody, but to really just make yourself a better person and to grow from it instead of, staying where you are and not evolving. I think learning from our past relationships is a huge way for us to grow as individuals. And again, like I said before, by taking accountability and realizing what you maybe did wrong too will help you be a better partner in the future to, your new girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever it is. So I hope that you all found this video helpful. Again, if you're watching, I'm sorry that you're going through a breakup, but know that sometimes things don't work out because you deserve something so much better. If I could give my past self advice going through a breakup, I would say right now you're sad and you think that you won't find anybody as good as this person or better, and those things don't work out so that so many more wonderful things will happen for you. I am so glad now that all my past relationships didn't work out because I am in the happiest, healthiest, most wonderful relationship ever, and obviously that wouldn't have happened if I would have stayed with the people I dated in the past. So everything happens for a reason, and I promise sometimes it's just because you deserve something so much better and there's someone out there or multiple people out there that would be a better match and fit for you. So I hope you all found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. And for all of you guys and girls that are going through a breakup, I am sending all my positivity your way and a nice virtual hug. Love you guys.